through the air. When the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt. It's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
I mean, I guess football's back. Kind of, sort of. I mean, let's really wait for the regular season. Right, everybody? Hi and hello, Le Batard Universe. It's your old pal Dave. Dave Damashek in the big chair. Where's Dan? Where's Zaz? Where's everybody? Oh, there they are behind the glass. What a gang. In honor of Zaz, let me say, we made it to Friday, everybody.
All right. This crew hasn't worked.
I can only imagine.
Definitely.
You know about that Friday?
I can only imagine how sunburned Zaz is right now. A week on a cruise.
I saw a photo. You don't have to imagine. Let me share it with you.
I just had, while you do that, and it might look similar, I just had a sausage link to Zaz. I mean, I'm comparing the sausage link to burnt Zaslow. Best breakfast meat. Good place to launch the show here.
I was a bacon guy forever.
Yeah.
And I recently, the last year or two, I've turned the corner. I'm a sausage man now.
Well, I think it's important that you distinguish what kind of sausage, too. If you're going to lean in, go all the way. Sausage, link?
Yeah, I go link. I think patty's a rookie move.
I agree, but does anybody want to? Taché, it looks like you're maybe chomping at the bit and at a sausage patty to defend the flat circle.
No, I'm not going with the sausage patty, but I will tell you something that's unsurprising, which is that my personal favorite is the chicken apple sausage.
Of all
the
breakfast
sausage.
meats.
Yeah, of all breakfast meats.
Checks
if
out.
I can get a chicken apple sausage somewhere, it's the thing I'm going for.
You know about that fennel?
Dave had the interesting strategy of eating a sausage link out of a cup.
I've never seen that
Yeah.
before.
Doesn't make it wrong. You know, I've advocated for some years now. You know, a lot of
Holy
people.
crap, look at this sunburn we have
He's
from
so
Zaslow.
sunburned.
Oh, no.
A little bit of
Zaslow.
Zagaki.
Yeah.
Gotta get the cheeks, man.
When you're that bald, is it just forgetting that you have to put sunscreen elsewhere?
He was definitely wearing shades and a hat, but he forgot that the sun bounces off the ocean.
That's his new name now. Apple chicken sausage. That's what he looks like when he's out at sea. First of all, the people who eat the patty, and they'll try to justify a sausage patty because it's better on a bagel or an English muffin, but it's not. You just have to split your sausage link and lay it flat in that way. Now, I feel bad for Taché, that chicken apple sausage. You know.
You feel bad for me?
Well, no, you know, another.
These
thing
are my taste buds.
Okay, but listen, there's a difference between truly living. And
I've had
merely
enough of an
surviving.
assault on the things that I like over the last couple of
Yeah,
days.
root beer,
First, root
jelly
beer
beans.
jelly beans. Now, chicken apple sausage. Let me like what I like.
Hey, Mike Ryan, I know you're upset about the the pregnancy of Miami not having an athletic director as we launch into another football season here. But as always, there are certain brands that will remind you that it could always be worse. You could be them. Did you hear the Purdue athletic director?
Yes, I did.
Tommy McClelland at his introductory press conference in West Lafayette, which also, you know, I went to Indiana University, to be clear. And, you know, West Lafayette stinks, and it begs the question, how bad must East Lafayette be? But either way, Tommy McClelland steps to the microphone to introduce himself to the world and Purdue's new way. Go ahead.
Is East Lafayette just Lafayette?
Well, I don't know. Why the distinction? Why would we have to carve out the western portion?
Also,
Is it so grand a land, Lafayette, that we have to carve it up?
Also, like, there is a common misnomer with the southern tip of the United States. It's actually like more central than people realize. You can draw pretty much a vertical line from Miami to Cleveland. There's parts of Florida that are in the central time zone, so I'm not even sure if Lafayette is east of West Lafayette.
Boy, that's a good point. You know what's the weirdest state in the union in terms of like the amount, its geography and how many states it touches is Tennessee. It's very skinny. It's a short state, but it's wide. It's very, very wide. I'm trying to make a joke out of somebody, but who is
Like
little
Maurice
wide?
Jones-Drew.
Maurice Jones-Drew. Okay, I was looking behind the glass there. No one really fits that description. But anyhow, Tommy McClelland. Now, as a reminder, you guys remember the national championship game, right?
Yeah.
Carson Beck is in the news, and we'll get to him in just a second here. He's now on a pro football team.
Bro, you remember it.
Yes, I remember how it ended. Yeah. It had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Well, either way, Tommy McClelland is now the Purdue athletic director, and 6 months after Purdue's arch rival Indiana won the national championship, here's what Tommy had to say.
Every recruit, every current student athlete will hear this message repeatedly. We are here to win championships. If you don't want to win championships, go to Indiana.
I like a banter AD. That's a banter AD. That's a bar. He workshopped that. It killed in the room.
Well, it's right. He's headed in the right direction, which is the one that Curt Cignetti, the head coach of Indiana University, took when a couple of years before they won the national championship, when he said, we're going to beat Michigan and Ohio State, and we're going to beat Purdue and all of that, and the crowd obviously went wild. Tommy's trying the same angle here, but he's ignoring.
Did he also say we're going to beat Central Michigan and Eastern Michigan, Arkansas State perhaps? That's our non-conference schedule.
Where is, by the way, well, fair, and they are kind of daring. Indiana University, the reigning national champion, is kind of daring the committee to leave them out because even though they're in the Big Ten, the best conference in America the last few years, they have a cupcake out-of-conference schedule, and they really only play one good team, which is Ohio State. And so Cignetti and company are daring the committee to leave us out. Oh, Ohio State came to Bloomington and whipped us. It's our only loss. You're going to leave us out? We're the defending national champs. It really does set up already to play tricks on the polls and the entire approach to evaluating who makes this tournament. Where is Miami ranked? I haven't even looked yet.
Believe we're number 7, just behind Indiana. 7 is the absolute floor. I'm okay with 7. But if we were 8, I'd be pissed.
You legitimately anticipate a big run out of the U this year?
Yeah, in large part due to the fact that the team is very good. we're a loaded team, and the conference is. I mean, the national perception is accurate. It's not one of the top 2 conferences. I'll concede that. While I will also admit that I think the top 2 conferences are a little overrated too in terms of the narrative around them. But 7's okay. We should be behind Indiana. I look at this top 10, and let's throw it back up there. This preseason top 10. I got so many issues with the preseason top 25. I just hate the notion of it.
Correct.
It makes no GD sense to me, especially since it actually has actual ramifications. What you are seeing on your screen right now of the top 25 coaches poll will, in a roundabout fashion, keep one deserving team out of the CFP. Just because the entire season is an exercise in confirmation bias for what we are seeing right now. And even more ridiculous than the coaches poll, top 25, which is just basically for entertainment purposes. It's a TV construct to try to get you to watch because the number next to it incentivizes it, is the ESPN FPI preseason index, which actually is used as a metric by the College Football Playoff Committee. When you look at it before the season, I don't know how they determine FPI before any games have been played, and 75% of the top 25 are SEC teams. They've already gamed the system a little bit. They've already rigged the election on the front end in so many ways.
What is for real? If you're going to have a preseason poll, based on what would you not have the reigning champ at number 1, right? Doesn't that follow?
I know they lost Mendoza, who is a generational college football player, right? One of the best, most successful seasons ever. They brought in Hoover. They're still very loaded. They brought in a ton of talent. They were, by wins and losses, the greatest college football team ever. Right? I don't get putting them at number 6.
Well, I don't understand. You and I
don't get putting them next to any number.
We park our cars in the same garage. The confirmation bias. Why would you have a preseason poll when you don't have any information yet except what you think is going to happen? It's a ridiculous way to approach things.
It's equally ridiculous, though, to take, let's say, like the number 1 team and they beat some like FCS school the first week and now they're number 1 because they beat some shitty team. Like then you're okay with it. I mean, it's all kind of. So you're saying what, after week 5, then we come out with our first rankings?
I don't care if you do it after the first week. What you can't do is say, I think this is going to happen, because part of the human condition is that we all want to be proven right. And so if Notre Dame loses its first game, shame the devil, its first 2 games like it did last year, and they still stay in the top 25, then what are we doing? You guys decided to abandon the polls. Remember? You guys decided to have a tournament in place of the polls that always existed. And Mike is absolutely right. The most ludicrous of them all has always been the coaches poll, who by definition, ironically or otherwise, are not seeing the games. Why? Because they're playing games themselves. How would they have any opinion on games that they haven't seen? How would they know anything about it? By the way, coaches polls predate cable TV. So literally, you would not have any information. If you're Joe Paterno, how would you have any ability to, UCLA looks real good? You have never seen them play a game by definition.
Are you okay with NFL preseason odds to win divisions? Like, we know guys that are going to be on these NFL odds.
Odds are different. Odds are not used as a metric to determine a playoff ranking. It would be just as ridiculous to have NFL preseason rankings. And we all know.
I would eat that up, though.
You would eat it up.
Can we do a top 10?
You would eat it. You would eat it up, and by the end of the season, it would be incredibly wrong. And let's not pretend like there weren't massive impacts from last season's preseason top 25. Alabama's a preseason top 10. That preseason ranking got them over the line, ultimately, in the end, to the CFP. Notre Dame's preseason ranking, too, allowed them to maintain a ranking when they started the season 0-2. It's a ridiculous thing.
I'm going to come up with my preseason NFL top 10.
You know, Chris, I feel like you think you've just landed on a billion-dollar idea. There's something called power rankings, and almost everybody who talks about pro football does them.
No, this is different.
Not Dave Dameshek. Dave Dameshek doesn't do it because Dameshek is no dupe. Dameshek ain't about jiving you. And by the way, I'd like to establish early on here today for the rest of this Friday my no jive policy. Please don't jive me, don't jive the audience, and most importantly, don't jive yourself. And the power rankings thing, I don't know if everybody heard about the power that everybody issues week after week. We have a thing called the playoffs, and those are determined by seedings, and those seedings are determined by your win-loss record. College football, I don't know if they're up to speed on that. That's what they've established for themselves now. You don't need to do the polls anymore, except, as Mike says rightly, they did impact who made last year's tournament. You can't vote on that and have an element of it. And the idea was, the trade-off was, okay, we're going to get rid of the polls. They no longer matter. Why we're still doing them, I don't know. And as it turns out, they did still influence who wound up playing in the tournament.
Because here's how the College Football Playoff Committee does it. For all the dilution of polls and the fact that, well, we can't trust these polls and we certainly can't trust the computers, is the way that they make their rankings is they get the AP Top 25, they get the coaches poll, and they figure out, all right, what do I want to change about this? So it's hugely impactful, whether people want to admit it or not. I know the line that they say is, we rank our top 25 totally independent of all that stuff. Bullshit. They look at the other rankings. It is very clearly a roadmap. You're never looking at a college football playoff ranking, comparing it to the other ones, and being like, how the hell did they come up with this? It's not its own thing. It's heavily influenced by the other rankings.
By the way, a lot of it is based on who the coach is at this point, because NIL has really accelerated the notion of what I have always argued, which is based on what? You have that team as the 17th best in the land. What went into your thought process there? You know nothing about them, about all the kids who transferred in there. It's abject jive, except that we then, by the end of the season, it is a point of, if it's a close call between a couple of teams, they do tend to lean on that information. And the NFL comp, Chris Cody, is when you start doing power rankings and everything else, and like, we know, when an element of the conversation is, yeah, but you know that team is better than the other. That would be the equivalent of the reference I always make with that is in the early 90s when the Chargers beat the Steelers in Three River Stadium, when everybody knew the Steelers were the better team over the season, and Stan Humphries is now going to a Super Bowl, would have been for the NFL overlords to be like, yeah, but the Cowboys are better than the Chargers. Let's just send the Cowboys to play Steve Young's Niners again. That'll be better. Everybody gets that.
I know the Chargers beat the Dolphins, but the Dolphins are better.
Come on, what are we doing here? I mean, it's an asinine approach to things, and then I did love ESPN. Now the relatively new wrinkle, obviously network partners have always influenced these things to some extent, but talk about accelerating the situation. ESPN now openly touting the SEC, despite the fact that the Big Ten has won the last 3 titles, making the case, but come on, the SEC is tougher.
How are we still doing this? They haven't been featured in any of the last 3 national championship games. And every year, the narrative is there come CFP time, but they play. You got to put Oklahoma in there. They did it in the SEC. Why? Because they beat Bama? Yeah, but Bama did it in the SEC. Bama couldn't do it at Tallahassee. Yeah, but the week in and week out grind. And then, inevitably, you have a team, say, like last year, Miami, and the year before that, Notre Dame, that'll just run through a handful of SEC teams during the college football playoff, and it doesn't carry over. We still continue with this narrative, and it happens again during the preseason. In the coaches poll, as you mentioned, Dave, is ridiculous. I happen to know what goes into coaching a head football program, just seeing what Mario Cristobal does, right? And whatever you think Mario Cristobal does, however obsessive you think Mario Cristobal is about talent acquisition and his job, it's undersold. He's a maniac. I cannot fathom asking Mario Cristobal at any point of the year, let alone right before the year, hey, what do you think of the Houston Cougars this year?
Yeah, what BYU versus A&M? Which of those 2 teams do you rank?
Hey, Mario, what do you think about Boise this year? Probably 31st best football team in the nation. I don't know. I haven't really put pen to paper. Well, we're going to ask you to. Tell us about the Cincinnati Bearcats, Mario Cristobal. Hop off the phone real quick. Stop game planning. Stop trying to be a maniac about talent acquisition. Tell me about the Cincinnati Bearcats, Mario Cristobal.
By the way, the reality is that the coaches themselves don't typically do that. The result is, better than I do, AD or information guy, you cast our vote for us. Taché.
No, I mean, look, not to hold up a decade-old gripe that I really try not to bring up anymore, but we have examples of teams that have literally gone undefeated and then not gotten to a playoff because the argument is, oh man, we all know that schedule was more difficult, so who cares that those teams lost? We all know that team's better. Just look at their recruiting rankings. And that really is, it's no different from the SEC to the ACC as it would be from the ACC to the Big 12 or the Big 12 to the AAC. All of these conferences look up and go, well, why do we automatically say that you're better even though you've lost 3 games just because of the recruiting rankings that are in the uniforms? You have to see those teams play and decide to play it out.
We know because at the preseason, they had a 17 next to their name.
Exactly.
And that basically sets the table for the rest of the season.
We park our cars in the same garage, my friend.
Well, the imbuing of powers that you may or may not have is never truer than in the SEC. This thing that everybody is expected to just accept as fact. But Bama had that gauntlet that they had to run through midseason last year. Go through those teams. Go through them one by one. Tennessee wasn't a tournament team. I mean, they're some decent teams. They're, power.
They got fat off Tennessee and Mizzou, 2 teams that did not beat ranked teams.
That's right. And the U. So, like I said a few minutes ago, I think Indiana, I don't know how intentional it was, but where it lands is they're kind of now in a spot. If they do, and if you go through their schedule, Washington probably is going to be good this year, back end of the season. Off the top of my head, I can't recall who else. They play at Michigan, do the Hoosiers, I think. They play USC in Bloomington. But bottom line is, it's not a real rugged schedule. Ohio State is the toughest game. Let's say that's the only game they lose. They are doing the opposite of what everyone counsels these days, which is, boy, you better have a tough non-conference game or two to legitimize yourself. I think this is the opposite. We're in the Big Ten. You know what? It's an SEC sort of approach, too, in fact, because the SEC, the other thing that they get away with ongoing that everybody just abides by is them, in week 10, just playing a preseason game against like a Division III school or something?
I don't want this to sound like sour grapes. I don't want to use the example of last year, Indiana, because I truly think Indiana was one of the best teams ever. Well coached, incredible execution. Their talent undersold. They have a lot of NFL guys on that team. The example for Indiana and a soft schedule and gaming the system to get in the CFP was probably the year before, where they played absolutely nobody, and they weren't like CFP worthy.
Maybe I'm a hypocrite then, because I could kind of understand. I think they did earn it, and obviously they wound up in the playoff, but there was some case against them because they had never been there, and what is going on in Bloomington, Indiana, the basketball school and all of that. But now, with the information that we have, they ran the table. They beat all those heavyweight teams to get to number one and win the national championship. Maybe I am being influenced now by the new powerhouse program that Kurt Cignetti has built over there in Bloomington, Indiana. We don't cry in the Midwest. We don't get all down in the dumps. If we lose, we pick ourselves up and we dust ourselves off and we come back the next week. We ain't no crybabies like are down in the SEC country.
Is that your Bill Simmons impression? I'm
always
confused.
That's Coach Kurt Cignetti.
Well, it's really a testament to how bad
you
Bill
don't know
Simmons.
what you're talking about.
What?
Mina Kimes, you're on Football America with Dave Damashek. I don't care about the Steelers. I care about Drake May. Drake May's the best.
It's truly the worst Bill Simmons impression.
It's the worst impression I've ever heard.
Are you jiving?
You sound like a South Park character.
I am not jiving. What I am doing is I'll pull it back a little bit here. Everybody knows Cousin Sal from the Kimmel Show.
Of course.
That's his impression of Bill Simmons, and that's me doing my impression of Sal doing Simmons.
That's kind of like when I do Harry Carey, I'm doing Will Ferrell doing Harry Carey.
You get it. Any more thoughts on the breakfast meat discourse?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to bring that back. I'm really glad that you did.
Well, it's a very weird chicken.
Okay, so first of all, chicken apple sausage. I move on from that because
that's
great.
what you said is the best.
It's great.
So why I would move on from
it
that,
is the
I don't
best.
know. But
Was the patty created simply for the breakfast sandwich?
This is what I was about to ask, because I think that similar to the way that the coaches poll dismisses MAC teams like the Toledo Rockets, I think we dismiss the sausage patty too quickly, because ultimately its versatility is what jumps to the front of the table. Because yes, you can have it the same way that you would have a sausage link and having it on its own. But really the benefit is that it can go in an egg and cheese sandwich, and now you got a sausage, egg, and cheese. You put that on a bagel,
sausage
that's
link
about as
can
good
also
as it
be placed between bread. In
Oh,
fact, I
that's
would
all.
argue the sausage
slice
is more
it-
What,
versatile.
you're gonna take a hot dog bun, put a sausage and a little bit of egg around it, and maybe wait.
You got to splay
Kinda
it.
sounds
That's
good,
what you do.
actually.
You
cut it at like
splay
an
it.
angle. You get it like the little flat slices.
That's
come
what
on.
splaying is.
You gotta do
friend.
work.
There is actually zero versatility to a patty.
No, you put
It's
the patty
only
in the
made
sandwich.
for a sandwich.
Although I do enjoy picking it up with my fingers, the patty, and eating it like a cookie.
Well, but you already picked up the sausage link
Sometimes
earlier
I'll dip
this
it in
week.
milk.
But part of the delight of the link is its snap,
Ah, that snap. You're right. You don't get the snap with the patty.
You want the nice snap. There's
do
nothing
like the snap.
really better about the patty, and as Mike rightly points out, you just splay that wiener out real nice and put it betwixt the bread.
Do what now?
Yeah, I find it very
Splay your wieners.
satisfying to take it out of the casing
You do.
and grill it up real nice.
Yeah.
What do you do with the skin?
Play with it a little bit and then throw it away.
So wait, you doing homemade sausage patties?
No, I mean,
And then you put the skin over your face.
Yeah. Sorry.
When you say homemade, like we're not filling the casing. We're just getting some frozen
Sausage
sausages.
of the lambs.
That's what I'm doing.
What
Which
person-
is again an impression of an impression. Jim Carrey, cable guy.
But by the way, I don't want to throw a grenade into the conversation, but at least on the very short list of best breakfast meats, bone-in ham. Bone-in ham.
Bone in. I do like a breakfast
disgusting.
ham steak. Like
Yeah.
the flat. Yeah.
Here-
But no,
here's what you
I've never
do.
had bone in ham.
File this one away for the holidays. A lot of people have a big ham at their Christmas table, and then there's invariably going to be leftover ham. Here's what you do: you throw that ham into the fridge overnight. You pull it out first thing when it's time for breakfast. You carve off some pieces of ham. You drop it into a pan. Listen to it sizzle up.
Oh, the
Next
sizzle.
stop,
Talk to me,
Cloud
Dave.
9. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, or the gathered group.
I'll
here.
take it. It's mine. Call him
The
ISO.
guy who lost in the national championship game, and assumptions made about him as a college quarterback, now turning into assumptions about what kind of pro football quarterback he'll be. And I like the late great Jerry Orbach at the end of Dirty Dancing. When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong, and this is an offshoot of that. I counsel everybody every summertime, don't look at August. It's like in the movies, like don't look directly at it, kind of thing, or you'll turn into stone, kind of thing. Don't look at preseason football. It's only going to trick your brain. It's a month-long lie for your eyes. And I watched one drive from Carson Beck, and I was seduced.
Did you know that Jerry Orbach donated his eyes to an eye bank? So there may be people walking around on the planet Earth with Jerry Orbach's eyeballs in their face?
Look close at my left eye. Notice a difference there?
Oh, hey, Jer.
When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong.
Carson Beck looked incredible last night, huh?
He
That was a
sure
little bit
did.
of a surprise.
I do have to take a quick, if I can critique one thing before we jump into the good of Carson Beck. 19? That's the number you choose? You're a quarterback? Like, what? You can have anywhere from 1 up to 19, and we can have a conversation about 0, and I don't know if they've now completely outlawed 20 for QBs, but 19, maybe the worst number for a QB?
I find it aesthetically pleasing.
Why?
I think it makes a quarterback's body look good.
I think 17's the worst.
Yeah.
I've often
Nah,
argued.
nah.
I think
17
7 is just a number I don't like.
You got the elbow sticking out in 17. It's usually tucked over Phillip Rivers' beer belly. I don't like it.
The only numbers that work with a 7 in it are offensive lineman 70. I don't like 17. I don't like 27. I don't like 37. I don't like 47. I don't like 57.
Not enough 77s on the defensive
Yeah.
front. That's a bad number that a lot of people don't pick up on. The best
look
number,
good.
the debate boils down to, spoiler alert, the two best numbers are 12 and 7, and 7 wins because it's aspirational. It's an arrow pointed upward. That's where you're headed if this is your QB. Yes, Roy.
Yeah, you said 19 is the worst number. That was worn by Johnny Unitas. Does that change?
I know
your mind?
who. No, it doesn't change anything for me. And by the way, that was a
What about Bernie
subject
Kosar?
I tried to get into
Montana Chiefs.
poorly. That's right, Montana Chiefs. Well, the worst one is
16's worse than 19.
2 is 2.
Two is great.
I was going to say 2 and
2
10.
looks cool as shit.
2 and 10 are my favorite quarterback numbers.
Well,
2's a
just-
very cool number.
You just said it, Mike Ryan. It's shit.
Oh, you can't do that.
Number 2?
You can't
You
do
want to
that.
be number 2?
You know what sucks as a quarterback number? And I love Cam Ward. And I love Warren Moon. And I love Cam Newton. But number 1.
I don't think it's a great choice.
How many
It-
white guys have worn number 1?
Probably a lot of them.
How many
Wow.
white quarterbacks have worn number 1?
Yeah, the only guys I can really think of are Moon.
Half of them are named Cam. Mike Adamle from American Gladiators?
Mike Adamle, the running back turned broadcaster, wore number 1 when he was matriculating. He was a student athlete, eh?
Mike Adamle. Remember when he called Jeff Hardy Jeff Harvey?
That's some memory. Anywho, 19 is a bad number. I once said to...
He looked good in that uniform.
He did. I said to Matt Ryan once, I had the occasion to talk to him and challenge him on his chosen jersey. 2, same conversation. Why
he had
would
a bad
you do
body
2?
for 2. You have to
Well-
have the right body for number 2.
But all our bodies make number 2, which is why you shouldn't wear number 2 on purpose. 1 is a weird choice because it means that you're the guy, and it's kind of
Matt
making
Ryan
a
made
weird
a mistake.
statement.
He's not a number 2.
Well, I asked Matt Ryan why number 2 of all the numbers that were available to you, and he said because my favorite player growing up wore number 2, and I said, who was that? And he said Tim Couch, and I said to him, how great is it? How many people can rightly claim that they ended up being better at the activity than their favorite player growing up? That's pretty cool.
The Tim Couch number 2 Cleveland Browns jersey, the one that started them all.
That's right.
That's the one that you see when people have all the other patches of the names. It's a good-looking jersey. Tim Couch was the guy that made me think number 2 is actually a cool quarterback number. And here's a misnomer about Tim Couch. He actually wasn't that bad. Yes, he goes in the books as a bust because he was a number 1 overall draft pick, and Kelly Holcomb supplanted him. But they made the playoffs largely due to Tim Couch's heroics. He wasn't a bad quarterback. He got injured.
Year of the Lord 2026. Here's Mike Ryan making a case for Tim Couch being
And the number 2.
But you're now off the Cleveland Browns, and so
Totally.
now let's turn back to the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't like
and how-
number 4. I'll tell you that much.
Really
Number 4 for a quarterback?
inoffensive.
No. Oh, really? How about Deshaun Watson?
Okay, touche.
Dave Damashek.
Touche.
Deshaun Watson does not offend me.
Yeah, okay. I take it back. You're right.
Brett Favre, it's me, man. Well, right
Brett
now.
Favre?
Bad number.
You just
Dak Prescott?
you referenced the Cardinals. Do you want to see if they're on the preseason producers poll?
Oh, here we go.
That's been
Why? there are 32 teams. You ran out of gas at
top
25.
You
Throw
You're
it
right.
up there.
Fair.
Main feed.
Take
Yeah.
it. All right. So
Oh,
this is
there
it.
it is.
Top 25 preseason producers poll. Wow. Anything stand out to you? I don't see the Cardinals on there.
Were they others receiving votes?
They got a vote.
So Dolphins, Browns, Cardinals, all others receiving votes. Who else didn't get votes?
Chris Cody, this brings me to, on Football America, it's a game that we play in August. It's a really difficult game. It's a sneaky tough game to play. Right now, and really basically from the draft and free agency on, it's way easier, given the structure of the postseason in the NFL, to talk yourself into in the parity that they shoot for and all the other reasons why. It's way easier to talk yourself into why a team could make the playoffs than why a team has absolutely no chance of making the playoffs in a given year. It's time to play no playoffs for you. I want you to name 3 teams that you are absolutely, positively sure are not going to be in the postseason tournament. And if you're wrong, I take one of your digits on the other side of the new year.
Jets, Dolphins.
I mean, the
Browns.
Jets are not a Wait, you just went 3 teams from
I
one
thought
conference?
I thought you just said 2 teams.
I said
said
3
3
teams, and
teams.
you went 3
I
teams
think
from
he
the
keeps
same
his
conference. That's
fingers.
pretty bold.
You keep your fingers.
Yeah, I don't think those 3 teams are making the playoffs.
I would go Dolphins, Cardinals. Cardinals, I actually don't think the Cardinals are that bad, even though Nathaniel Hackett's their offensive coordinator, but that division is just murder.
No playoffs for
and
you.
Browns.
Well,
And
the
Browns.
Dolphins are one of the best plays in this regard in the last decade because they have announced we don't intend to make the playoffs. I just wonder what that conversation is to Malik Willis. Halfley and company, and then I do want to get back to Carson Beck, but what do you think that conversation goes like? Everybody, it's one of the narratives that they're tanking the season, and as I've said on this show before, poor Malik Willis, maybe he benefits from it, because the coaches brought him in because of the past relationship, and maybe he understands no matter what, he is going to be the starting quarterback next season. But imagine, what is it for Hafley to step in front of that room of people and try to convince them to put out their best when the organization intends to not make the playoffs?
You want to answer the question?
Not really.
I mean, what do you? How do you inspire? I understand the idea.
You're the Dolphin guy. You're literally wearing a Dolphin shirt. Were you not? You weren't listening.
I don't like that team.
I was reacting to the reaction of my
You were-
poll here.
you were
Just reading the polls.
I will say that picking the Dolphins to be certainly bad is risky because there are unknown factors in Hafley and Malik Willis. Like, it is a little dangerous for a starting quarterback getting his first shot as QB1 and a first-time head coach. That could be a spark. That could be something special. Whereas, like, the Jets, Geno Smith, you kind of know what you're getting, right? Last year was pretty much time to write back. He famously didn't write back. He started to write back.
If
He at
you're
least started
wrong about
here.
one of those, even though the Cardinals are probably better, I think the team that would have a shot at least of making you look bad is in taking away, which digit would it be, by the way, Chris, that we take? I'll give you the choice.
My right ring finger?
Yeah, ring finger is the move.
think
You
that's
can't
right.
go pinky or thumb. A lot of your strength in your hand comes from those outside fingers.
Oh no, yeah, you need the opposable digit. That's off the table. But your ring finger will be sitting on the table.
Dave,
when
what
it's
you're
over.
doing is actually pretty easy. Like, to identify bad teams that are expected to
No.
be bad. What is really difficult is taking teams that are expected to be good and looking at that group and said, one of these teams is going to have a sucky season.
I love it. The Rorschach team. Who is the team that we are imbuing with powers that are not actually there? We just talking ourselves into them by looking at them briefly. I do think it's a fascinating spiritual conversation in Hafley's first year with his new QB who just moved down there. It's very easy to convince yourself, listen, everybody knows what this season is. Don't worry, Malik Willis. But Arch Manning, let's say he does fulfill his destiny as the next Manning.
He looks good.
he hasn't already fulfilled that.
Well, he is, in fact, the next Manning. You're right about that. But I mean the next great
Promises
Manning.
made, promises kept.
Great Manning is what I should have. I should have put that word in there. But yes, if Arch Manning's there, let's.
We have
Geno,
some B-roll here of him
let's see
looking
him.
good at Texas camp here. Yeah, I mean, he's just
He looks
classic.
good in shorts.
Oh.
As we know, that's a huge part of it.
That looks like
Ooh, a spiral.
Is that a 70-yard throw?
He did throw a spiral, which is nice for him.
Wow.
Yeah,
Which is unlike his uncle.
I
Old
am-
18 didn't throw a ton of spirals.
I'm taking the courageous stance of thinking that Arch Manning's going to be okay. I think he's going to be all right. Last year, a lot of people jumped off. I held on to that stock.
But did you just bring him up through the context of should the Dolphins, if like Malik
I just think it
versus
sets
Arch?
up for it's a really weird spot for Malik Willis to be in. That don't worry, man. And it does call into question his decision making as well. Okay, we got to talk about Carson Beck because I want to know from the U fans' perspective if you're now excited. Are you now going to vibe away from Cam Ward, or at least now make room in the garage for Cam Ward and for Carson Beck?
Cam Ward is always a Kane. Always going to be a Kane, no matter what, even if he flames out in the NFL, always a Kane. With Carson Beck, it's a little bit more complicated. He did substantial winning over at Georgia. When people close their eyes, I think they still think of Carson Beck as a Georgia Bulldog, even though he threw the last pass of the last football season. But here's what I'll say. If he's good, I will claim him.
And if he's not,
If he's
you'll
not,
put
that's
him
a
on
Georgia Bulldog.
Georgia and call him
That's a Georgia
chicken
Bulldog.
apple sausage.
Yeah.
Miami Mayor Eileen Higgins has a problem with black people. We break it down with civil rights icon Dr. Marvin Dunn, who says the black community is losing faith in her. And I talk to a real, live, self-proclaimed socialist. South Florida congressional candidate Oliver Larkin about his viral Fox News appearance calling the president a pedophile. All new because Miami.
Friday on Mystery Crate, we've got a bachelor party, and I need to know, are you an itinerary person or are you not an itinerary person? The entire Mystery Crate crew jumps down my throat and tries to tell me that I'm a little bit too bossy on Danny B's brother Johnny B's bachelor party, which I don't agree with.
And speaking of
Not too many activities, completely normal.
Speaking of jumping down your throat, algos.
Yes, we dissect algorithms. Mine in particular.
I hated yours.
No, mine was good.
I hated
If you're
yours.
tuning in for anything this week on Mystery Crate, tune in for my algorithm.
And if you listen to the main show, Chris actually said some stuff earlier in the week that hints toward what is on his algorithm. So that's
what
a little
a
bit of a
tease.
nugget for you.
What a tease. An update on Camp Fiesta, and Rose doesn't know lyrics. Anywhere you find podcasts and or videos, check us out. Mystery Crate, baby.
Shh. Back to you, Dan.
Back to you, Dan.
Said without saying he smokes a nice one, every once in a while to relax. Do you think maybe he was on Devil's Lettuce a little too much? He was a little too passive, perhaps.
What? What, think that they're high?
Do you think that was a factor?
No. What? Do we think that Steve Eisenman struggled because he's a pothead? Is that what you just asked us? No. No, I don't. And did he admit that? No, I feel like if he admitted that, are you on the Devil's Lettuce? Are you the pothead? What?
All right. Well, there's that.
No!
Gas bag of the week.
Does that deserve applause?
I love radio remotes. Birds chirping in the background. The soft sounds of you adjusting your headphones.
Are you on the Devil's Lettuce?
The fact that that's probably a car dealership. Oh, that's hot. I like that. I'm an audiophile.
Down at Potemkin Mazda.
So is Roy. Roy is, I don't know what that look is on Roy's face, but
Sonically
it
pleasing.
looked a bit like old girlfriend longing. She was a real Hellcat.
Yeah, real tomcat. I love that. Oh, hey, Gary Abar. I'm getting a little. My return is a little too loud, Gary Abar. Oh man.
Where's Tree?
Oh yeah. What's the ISCN settings?
Somebody
G.722.
I get this joke too.
We got a backup coupler. Hell yeah, G.722.
It's a good call by you.
Gary Abar, Jeremy, was the most competent of all of the engineering and audio help that we had. But that particular sound that Roy just played that made him both nostalgic and longing in a way that is weird. There's a little nature in there. But what you really hear there that is making Roy laugh, and it's what Zaz is appreciating here as well. Rare is it that you get the sound of what it sounds like on the very lowest rung of the show business ladder. And this is below that. So you got the lowest rung of the show business ladder, and then you've got where you plant the ladder underneath that. And then underneath that, then the car people coming by, and you're surrounded by used car salesmen, and Ed Williamson is up your ass.
Just 500 due at signing.
Tax tagging time.
We got a bounce house here for the kids. The cookies are warm and the coffee is hotter.
My father would show up at those when we weren't doing the remotes just to have the pigs in a blanket that have been there since Wednesday on a tray where, Julio, the sad car dealer guy who's finishing 9th place just out of the bonus that week is sniffing around as you're talking about Lusaka Polite.
Got Defo in the corner asking trivia questions at JM Lexus about the 1970s Knicks. I love it.
That's where we started right there. Gary Abar is the height of the professionalism. I don't know why they did that. Look, people in Gary Abar's position in my history in this business, every last one of them has been insane. Gary Abar's the only sane one.
He's a beacon.
He was the only guy. That guy was a lighthouse. That guy, whenever that sound was happening, Gary, the birds are too loud. I wasn't expecting those at the car dealership. Also, there's an alligator in lot 3 because we're in the Everglades.
Ed Morse, of course.
All of it has bored Mike Ryan, so I'm going to try to lure him back with a baseball conversation that I think
a baseball conversation
will get him. Yes, I know. I get it. I know that this is why you drifted off into the sea over there.
Fall camp opens in 2 weeks.
But Joshua Kuroda Graver for the Oakland Athletics, if they are still indeed, ouch is what he said, because he's got a ruptured testicle. He's on the injured list with a ruptured testicle. Tony, what did you just do?
I'm out on that. I don't like that. You wanted to draw us back in, so why don't I show a video of a guy's ball exploding?
Well, but it's because it's the worst injury in sports.
Yeah, but it's also like the third time I've seen one of these.
Okay.
I'm also being told, that this guy got up, got a base hit with the ruptured testicle.
He's not wearing a cup.
This is a foul ball. You can still, dude. I mean, point-blank range.
Guys don't wear cups.
Yeah.
Catchers wear cups.
You can still get an injury with a cup on, though. At point-blank range like that? Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you said you've seen this
Microplastics
3 times, Mike, and the thing that I feel like I have to correct you on, because I'm going to say that it was the 90s when I learned of some sort of Seattle Mariner catcher who got a foul tip and got an injury that I'd never heard of before, which is a fractured testicle, okay? So that's when I learned of the fractured testicle. I've never before heard of the ruptured testicle. This is a new phrase for me. He's on the injured list now. I was not aware that that was a thing. Are all of you aware that ruptured testicle is a thing, that you could go to the doctor and you're going to get the diagnosis, you've ruptured your testicle?
Honestly, it's the opposite. I didn't know you could fracture it.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
It's the footballiest time of the year. Football season is essentially upon us. Carson Beck, a good debut, preseason though it was. Mike Ryan, I'm sensing some enthusiasm as somebody who enjoyed rooting for Carson Beck last year at the U.
Right now, the meter points, he's a Miami Hurricane. Another interception, an interception or two, it swings back to Georgia Bulldog. But last night, that was a proper Miami Hurricane. Honestly, though, the main takeaway, and how good is it to have a bad beat? Oh, I had a bad beat. I had Cardinals.
What are you doing, man?
What am I doing?
What are you doing?
I felt what I'm doing is expressing confidence in Carson Beck. What I'm doing is putting my money where my mouth is, and he was fine.
Haynes King hater.
Yeah,
See,
well,
ACC.
Well, one thing
runs deep.
One thing that I should have certainly not done and learned from history is betting against Haynes King. And he did it again. This he's magical. He's not good, but he's awesome. That's right. I don't understand it. He's just such a gamer.
Isn't
I don't
it
know
weird
what it
that they always mention that he's a coach's son? It's like, why didn't his dad ever coach him to throw a football and look like a normal person throwing it? And he's still reached this lofty perch as a preseason QB without looking normal throwing a ball.
Excuse me. Whenever I watch, I get emotional watching Haynes King. Whenever I watch Haynes King in college, I point to it and I'm like, this is my Bill Simmons. I point to Haynes King and I'm like, that's why college football is so awesome. The quarterbacks like that don't exist in the NFL. College is the only place where a Haynes King can not only exist, but thrive. And be one of the greatest players in your program's history. So to see him do it, I know it's preseason, and I know it's certainly against a team that not many people are expecting much from, and it's all backups. But it was really awesome to see Haynes King do that in a pro uniform. And I'm not the only one that thought that, Dave Damashek. Here's the final call from last night's thrilling Hall of Fame game from 2 10-pole franchises in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers and Arizona Cardinals. Don't believe me? Ask Mike Tirico.
Game on the line. King, he's going to step up. Pumps, runs, goal line. Is he in? Yes! Ohio wins! Haynes King! King of the night!
Look at him.
Whole team's out there mobbing him!
It's party time in Canton, Ohio.
The smile that was on your face when Collinsworth just decided to chime in there. That's football, buddy.
I've always told younger fellas, as a great coxman, I've always said, listen, what you do on a first date, you don't go somewhere super fancy. Don't take because first of
Set
all,
the standard too high.
Well, you'll also you'll both be stiff and all of that, but also, where do you go from there? And where's Tirico and Collinsworth Booth going from here?
Look at him.
Wait till the games start to matter. A cool matchup too, because neither of the quarterbacks, when Beck and King were in the ACC QB showdown out there in Canton, Ohio, neither one of them possesses a real first name. You know, Josh Allen has 2 first names, and then there are other guys who have no first names. You know? Would you rather be Beck Carson? King Haynes. I think I'd rather be King Haynes.
It's a great take, Dave. And also, they ran it back. When those 2 quarterbacks play one another, they play great games. The Georgia Tech-Georgia game, of huge consequence from 2 years ago, a game in which Carson Beck started the game hurt, toughed it out, and willed Georgia to victory, also with the help of referees, but the SEC narrative won't allow for that. Haynes King and Carson Beck put on an all-time show. That's one of the greatest regular season college football games I had ever seen. And now they are responsible for arguably one of the greatest preseason games you've ever seen. Tell me your top 5.
Don't you try to draw me into your jive. I'm trying to keep the powder dry.
I'm driving over here.
Listen, you think that people, like I'm doing a bit. Don't watch preseason games. If your goal is to understand who is positioned to do well and who's not going to be good in the coming season, then don't watch preseason football because it tricks your eye. If you watch that game, you would think, hey, Kenny Pickett, I'll tell you what, he had some tough years, but he's looking pretty sharp now. And Carson Beck, man, I think a lot of teams slept on him. Those were the thoughts going through my mind. And then I legitimately said, turn the TV off because you're going to get seduced by Carson Beck, and it's going to be a complete mirage in about 25 days from now.
All right. So, yes, there are some times that a guy is lights out in the preseason, and it's a total mirage, right? But you take the times that a dude flashed instantly and you knew right away he was going to be good as an indicator whenever you watch these guys. Like Carson Beck, you harken back to the time you first saw Cam Newton doing in the pros and you had your questions, like, that guy's going to be good. Fans love to do that stuff.
All right. So, yeah, okay, it's a fun exercise. But if you're really trying to evaluate that, as I say, it's an illusion. It's a lie for your eyes. You
don't think Haynes King is going to be a starter in this league?
I think some people...
Doubt him at your peril.
Legitimately, Jacoby Brissett probably is sweating just a little bit today because now there's going to be the Cardinals fan base, the 8 people in Phoenix that care about that team, are probably saying, like, oh, number 19. That's the answer. That's the future. By the way, I should mention Pablo Torre while we talk jive with another great report, unless you're on the Clippers side or on Kawhi's side. He's coming up at the top of the 10 o'clock hour, I believe, is when we have him booked for. Wait, I don't know why you just did that to me, Roy. Was that wrong?
That's classic radio right there,
Shouldn't mention the hour that it is because we're doing it because it's a podcast.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen.
Dan took today off because he is elated because Pablo's reporting made the bottom line on ESPN.
Yeah, so he was just fist bumping.
The Daktronics story is now a lead headline on the bottom line. Congratulations, Pablo.
Well, that's only the case with ESPN because it has the word Dak in it.
Right, exactly. Yes, well done there, Taché.
5 minutes, Pablo will be here.
5 minutes?
Yeah, in 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so he's coming up in a few minutes.
You're the one that said the time.
I know, you're right. That was a mistake. I don't have to be attacked and dragged over the coals for it.
Radio.
What happened, and I'm not one to live life in the rearview mirror. except that I do want to go back to that Hall of Fame game last night and further back by about 3 hours than Tirico and Collinsworth going wild over the last-second touchdown. In the pregame, Mike Tomlin, who used to be the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, is now an analyst on the pregame show for NBC, and they asked him about his replacement, Mike McCarthy. Do we have some of that sound?
Nope. You and I agreed before the show. You were like, no, I'll just describe it to the people.
Hey, stop explaining the show.
Touche. I thought we were going to pull.
Thanks for scaring the shit out of me, though.
Describe it at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. Pablo.
I thought it was
It's the chair.
I thought it was very interesting. Where do you come down on? I mean, he was the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach 6 months ago.
Don't worry, Dave. It happens all the time.
But you probably
say we're not going to do something, the chair says you are.
Yeah,
it
and you should probably explain it to the audience.
Listen.
No, you know what? My bad.
Look at him.
Do you feel the need to talk about media and streaming rights?
I would like to talk about this. Mike Tomlin was the head coach of these Pittsburgh Steelers for the better part of 2 decades.
Would you like to avoid the Rossini story?
We covered that, but good. And by the way, I thought Dan's explanation made all the sense in the world. ESPN should be talking about a reporter who doesn't work at ESPN, should be covering that story, or should they be covering the head coach's marriage? That's a weird thing to dip into. No, either direction. I understand it is a dust up that transcended the two people, but his logic behind it made sense. All right, go ahead there, Mike Ryan.
Super El Nino. We're all gonna die.
Anyway, Tomlin said...
Munitions running low. Critical. Your thoughts.
Tomlin...
Race. Just race. Black, white. Do something with it. Uniquely Miami. All of it. Early.
Taché rubbing his temples. I don't know exactly what that does. But Tomlin says he is the coach for 20 years, thereabouts. He now calls the Steelers them and they. Where do you come down on that?
It'd be odd. I think we'd make fun of him if he said we at this point.
Black bodies breaking. Gladiator spectacle.
Hate when people use they, them pronouns.
It's very strange, the arm's length distance he now has from this team as he talks about how they went 10-7 and how they haven't won games, and the expectation is and the standard is, yeah, that was you the whole time, man. That was you for the last 20 years. I thought that was interesting stuff. Also, with Hall of Fame weekend here, I'm reminded of I think when, we'll see during the speeches, part of the ceremony will be that they take a drape off of a thing off of, and there will be a head statue, a bronze head statue of Drew Brees and the other guys, and it's a bust. If you're the best, if you're one of the very best, you get a bust. But also, if you're one of the very worst, you're a bust. Bust is our rangiest word.
Jeremy, look up the origins of dust up. Why do we call it that? What is a dust up?
I've said something similar to what you're saying with bust, with washed. Like, you call someone washed.
Jeremy, why is something washed?
It's a bad thing. You're washed.
Used up.
I enjoy it when I'm
Isn't
washed.
it good to wash something?
I enjoy being washed.
You're born anew.
I'm
right.
clean.
Yeah, you're clean.
Yeah, but yet if I'm an athlete and I'm washed, that's bad.
Help me with this. Help me understand.
You could be a head statue, or you could be an all-time bum at the sport that you were supposed to be good at.
You can be Jamarcus Russell or Drew Brees.
Right. You could also be boobs if you're bust. And also, you could.
Hell yeah.
The coppers.
I always have to tell myself, no, they don't mean that. They mean that when they say bust.
Yeah, the coppers.
I'm a red-blooded American male, Dave Damashek.
Go ahead. Say your filth. You want to work blue, that's your business.
Busted's boobs, first and foremost.
Oh, I thought you were going even bluer.
Oh, well, there is another type of bust.
And then if you're grammatically unsound, you can bust a watermelon.
Right, but I don't like using bust in that way.
Yeah, what?
I'm gonna bust. It's just is that MC Light?
What is this? Are you're evaluating?
Well,
the
when I
blue
say
version,
when
is
I,
what
yeah,
you're doing?
When do you say?
When I say like it depends on the decade, because I'm about to bust. Yeah. Ooh. How does he mean it?
Sorry, honey.
I'm about to bust. How does he mean it? It depends on the decade. Yeah. Because I'm about to like spit a mediocre rhyme right now.
Or you can be busted.
Or orgasming.
Bust the rhyme.
Well, say now that right and arrest. Is there another contender to the throne that is bust as our rangiest word in the English language?
Let's ask a Pulitzer Prize winner when he gets here. When we say bust, what is the way that you use it the most?
Top 5 ways.
It's a very rangy word.
Perfect. He joins us right on time here. He has some other stuff he wants to talk about, but here he is from the guy. He finds it all out. It's Pablo Torre. How are you, fella?
Pablo.
Congratulations,
Hi, guys.
muzzle tov and otherwise, to you on another breakout story here.
Thank you. To quote the Ghostbusters theme song, busting makes me feel good. I don't know if that's entered the discourse yet, but busting also can be, you've caught someone doing something. And so maybe there's that from the federal sense. I don't know.
That's how Pablo uses it, because he just busted Kawhi Leonard again, allegedly, to protect us from legal ramifications.
Look at him.
All right, so just to bring up to speed, another layer now with the Kawhi Leonard experience and the Clippers, and it seems as though, and what my brain always goes to with this particular story that you continue to find new layers of, Pablo, is it really reminds me of Tom Brady with the Patriots. And do you see the connection there with the TB12 stuff and all of that? Does the TB12 stuff walk so that the Kawhi Leonard stuff can run?
So what's interesting there, of course, is that Tom Brady took materially less money to play for the Patriots, enabling all sorts of other salary cap, hard cap flexibility in the NFL. Kawhi, the last extension he took from the Clippers was sub-max. But part of what's so glorious about this story is that of a superstar. Oh, wait. Am I back?
You're back. You're back. Yes.
Okay.
It was a bit
Steve
of a
Ballmer.
cliffhanger.
Oh, excuse me. What I was saying was, before I was rudely interrupted or hacked, was this is the story in the NBA, as well as allegedly the money off the books. And so that's where it got to be.
All right.
Son with the Spurs.
All right.
I think this is genuinely Steve
Tom
Ballmer.
Brady.
Pablo, I'm going to call this
What?
one. You got to back out of the Zoom and back in. All right. This is not going well.
Hold on.
Let him do that, and why don't we summarize the newest layer of this story, Mike
Yes,
Ryan?
for the audience, we'll do that while we repair Pablo Torre's connection. So last week, he had the Rhode Island FC thing, and I was like, I don't know. Where is this going? I don't want to criticize it. I don't want to call it a nothing.
This is not important, but I'm vain, and I have to say this. Do you know I went to see Rhode Island FC play a game 2 weeks ago?
Why weren't you on the episode? You had way more background knowledge of the second tier of US
I had never
soccer.
heard of them until I went and watched them play the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, reigning champs of whatever league they're in. And that's who they vanquished. And then to see them in the news was weird.
So last week, I was like, all right, I'm not going to criticize this episode for not being substantive because I know how Pablo gets down. This is going to be a part of a bigger thing. And 1 week later, it was indeed part of a bigger thing. And the way that it's tethered to it is Rhode Island FC used Daktronics to put in some of the screens in their new stadium, allegedly. No, not allegedly. Like
that happened.
I just get scared. I just want to say it as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a good guide. So, although that could be circumstantial, because as Pablo laid out, and Pablo, you can defend it for yourself here. Daktronics is the industry leader, so it's not like a total gotcha that they did the screens for Rhode Island FC, right?
No, I mean, look, it's important to point out that this is a story that has been hiding in plain sight for lots of reasons. One of them is that Daktronics is just a scoreboard company that lots of people use, right? And so, look, the RIFC connection here, if you want to just jump right into that part, which is like, a thing we are still, of course, unfolding and investigating. Daktronics, at the time that they got into business with the Clippers, was worried about bankruptcy. Like, Daktronics becomes the worldwide leader in jumbotrons on the back, in large part, according to their own press releases, on the back of this $100 million Halo board build-out in the Intuit Dome. But we got earnings call. I mean, we have literal tape from the heads of Daktronics, including their auditor, who's saying there's a going concern, meaning within 12 months, we might be a bankrupt company. And so this Intuit Dome deal, it could not have been more important to the worldwide leader in jumbotrons because they were absolutely worried about their ability to exist as a company. And so the question of like, what kind of influence did the Clippers have over Daktronics at the time in the year 2023? The stock chart tells the story. So do the earnings calls. So does the annual report from the company itself. And so it's not the case that this has always been a company that could do business with everybody and everybody wanted to do business with them. It's actually the story of how the Clippers saved them. And so then what happens afterwards? Well, it turns out simultaneous to that Intuit Dome build out, in this exact same timeline, they are building a video board for the Rhode Island Football Club. And we leave it at that in this episode, but you can surmise that this is something that we are extremely interested in.
Pablo, the part that really shocked me when I was listening wasn't just the fact that there was this almost clear transfer of power of aspiration falling apart to then Daktronics sort of stepping in and being the next sponsorship deal that involved Kawhi, but the fact that, at least with aspiration, there were other celebrity endorsements. Daktronics is a B2B business. Like, this made no sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the comedy of this, is that this is a company that has zero endorsers of any kind on the record ever. We talked to a half dozen former and current Daktronics employees who said literally that, like, we're a B2B company. You don't like buy a jumbotron at Walmart. No one is making a decision to go contract with Daktronics over their competitor because this celebrity athlete is saying, I endorse this brand. And more to the point, Daktronics themselves, again, when you go through their advertising materials, when you go through what they've put into, again, these earnings calls and annual reports, they actually advertise that they don't advertise. They say that effectively other companies use sponsorships, we don't. And so the idea that they would break precedent by signing Kawhi Leonard secretly to a deal, as we report, that was for millions of dollars that no one, once again, in the aspiration mold, no one ever knew about outside of the companies involved here and was never announced, and to which there is no recorded information of Kawhi doing anything towards, as well as multiple attempts to get answers to the questions of like, hey, is there any evidence that Kawhi did anything? Do you want to answer any of these questions directly? Those answers come back no. All of that sounds a lot like aspiration in terms of a template.
It's like Florida Power and Light or Waste Management having a pitch man. It's just totally not necessary. And it makes no sense. And I think that through your investigation here, Pablo, this seems, given the background, because Aspiration had a ton of endorsement deals, and you could argue a ton of those were also no-show jobs. This one, hiding apparently, I guess, in plain sight, is really, really damning. And ESPN is running with this, where they've picked and chosen which of your reports to run with. This one's getting bottom line attention. This one is sending shockwaves throughout. How many of these things could Kawhi Leonard possibly have? This seems. I don't understand for the life of me why it's so messy. And it really, and I know I don't want to put you in a place where you're guessing because you're investigating Kawhi right now, but there are so many of these with Kawhi Leonard, and the response from the NBA is so weird that the conspiracy theory starts formulating in the mind that the NBA wants this to go away because maybe what Kawhi is doing isn't so outlandish by NBA standards.
Well, this is what's at stake here, right? Adam Silver, if you listen to his own words, when he talks about cap circumvention, when the NBA itself investigated the Clippers in 2019 because of complaints from the Lakers and the Raptors direct to the league office about how Dennis Robertson and Kawhi Leonard were asking for things in circumvention of the salary cap in order to sign as a free agent, right? Adam Silver clears them and says there's no evidence, but reiterates salary cap circumvention is the cardinal rule of our league. Relatedly, by the way, in 2015, when Steve Ballmer's Clippers are investigated because they offer this deal with a team sponsor, Lexus, to DeAndre Jordan, there is a fine. There's a $250,000 fine that says you can't do that. You can't do that in your free agent or in your presentation behind closed doors to a free agent like DeAndre Jordan. And they were punished for that. And so the point that I'm establishing here, Mike, to your question is this is a pattern. As much as I would like to be the guy who discovered salary cap circumvention with the Clippers, the first one on this planet to ever do that, it goes to 2015. And it goes to the question of what does the richest owner in American sports want to do and what is he not able to because of these pesky cardinal rules. And so the question of how many of these are there, I continue to quote Michael Winger, the general manager of the Clippers at that time. This is now 23, 24, because he says, quote, how many bleeping side deals have we made with Kawhi? In an exasperated way, because what Ballmer did, according to all of our reporting, as well as, by the way, the allegations in 2019, was service a free agent that he wanted as much as a person can want anything, right? Just imagine the motive here. He's opening the Intuit Dome. He needs a franchise player. He's a basketball fan. He's competing with the Lakers in their very same city. And Kawhi Leonard had just won a title, microwaved the championship with the Raptors. So the desire here cannot be overstated. And so the ambition is also proportional to that. And so what do? According to our reporting, you create the largest salary cap circumvention scheme that's ever existed in professional sports.
Couple things. First of all, to go back to the potential sponsorship of Daktronics. I mean, Dak Prescott's sitting right there. They haven't made a deal with him. Very strange.
Yeah, his agent, Dak's agent, should be really kicking himself.
Ashamed, right? With the Kawhi, what you and Mike are kind of getting at is, I always thought with the Deshaun Watson, to try to make a very strained analogy, Deshaun Watson doing that with massage therapists, he did what? What kind of creepo would do that? And as a reminder, he was doing that and then got caught doing it by somebody who felt violated by that. But he didn't just jump in. That wasn't the first time he did it. This was a pattern of behavior. So beyond just Kawhi and the Clippers, is that Adam Silver's concern? Is this siloed with just that franchise and the rich owner? Or do you imagine, and again, I'm putting you in a spot to speculate, do you think that Silver is afraid or maybe knows even more that it is a league-wide issue?
I think what is the issue here from the highest possible level is the question of whether fans, let's be honest about it, whether fans believe that this game is on the up and up, right? There's an integrity of the game concern here. And I don't want to be the guy who's moralizing because truly, like, the whole approach of the story is we want to tell the truth as best we can, however dangerous it might be given various looming litigation, as the allegedlys imply. And our goal is to not advocate for a specific punishment. I've not done that once. I've merely said, we got to take this stuff seriously because, by the way, I think it's worse than people in the public realize. I'm comfortable saying that according to our reporting. But in terms of why should the NBA care about this? It's because we're at this inflection point in this sport. And this goes to the gambling scandal, which we've also been investigating. It goes to the salary cap circumvention scandal, parentheses S, as allegations are swirling, by the way, not just around Kawhi Leonard, but of course, Gary Trent Jr. And certainly there are news cycles, some of them originating very prominently in the studio I'm addressing right now around every superstar acquisition. What else is on the table? And so the thing that can't be understated here, the thing that I think the NBA should be very aware of is that I was also surprised that people cared this much about cap circumvention. And so the question is why? And I think it's because it speaks to a moment we live in right now where we care deeply about sports. We are investing our money in them. We are investing our time and our energy and our emotions in them. And if you don't think the thing you are betting on, literally and figuratively, caring about with the emotion of an ancestral inheritance is actually the thing it's claiming to be, is actually the thing it's selling you, then you have a business problem. And so I just start with the grassroots level of what fans think, because that's what's been astonishing. People feel like they're not being told the truth. And after an episode like this, in which we show the ways in which Steve Ballmer hid his identity, according to the LA District Attorney's Office, behind an LLC to build the dome in the first place, it's hard not to sympathize with people who think that the billionaires are saying stuff behind closed doors that they don't want you out there in the public to know.
Still trying to piece together what you mean by in this studio. And I look down on my jersey. I'm like, did Inter Miami do something? Well, I mean, they famously did with Apple, but they actually have designated player rules. And maybe, I can't believe I'm about to say this, maybe an actual professional sports league can learn from the MLS in that you can literally pay a designated player whatever you want. It does not count against your cap.
I am. The thing you're not going to hear from me is the moral indignation of the salary cap as a instrument of righteousness must be validated and defended. I had DeMaurice Smith on PTFO, the former head of the NFLPA, to talk about why he thinks the union should be concerned about this. Concerned in a way that I think is surprising to people, because typically you'd imagine every union must, of course, take the side of the player no matter what. And of course, Kawhi Leonard, as he has been receiving, according to reporting, he deserves the representation of the union and he will receive it, and he should. But in terms of what else the union should consider, what DeMaurice Smith was telling me was that this is also the story of the CBA being allegedly broken by the richest owner in sports. And if you're the union and you fight tooth and nail in collective bargaining to get to an agreement, this covenant, right? If you're going to let ownership break those rules and get away with it to this degree, what you're effectively doing is surrendering your ability to enforce that CBA when it directly speaks to your interests in ways that are even clearer. And so it's not merely player versus owner here. It's about literally what the rules are and whether they matter and who should want to enforce them. And I would argue that the rule of law in every facet of our country, whether it's governmental, whether it's something silly like sports, the rules are there to protect the people with less resources. They're there to protect people who don't have the force of closed doors and billions of dollars. It's there to protect those who need to seek and appeal to the rules to protect their interests. And so if you give on a violation this flagrant, what you're doing is you're losing the ability to credibly claim that you care about these rules in general. And I will say, Mike, by the way, to the whole designated player exemption thing, I have now talked and heard from the representatives of star players in the NBA who are not Kawhi Leonard. And their response is not, to be very clear, it's not, Kawhi, good job, go get yours. It's, why can't we also do this? You have a guy breaking the rules like this, allegedly. We're the idiots who are preventing ourselves from also cashing in. Like, it's not that Kawhi Leonard secret deals are something that everybody thinks should be defended because they want them for themselves. They're realizing we can't access that, but that guy can. And that is a problem because we're actually not as bold in doing the degree of stuff that he is doing. And so that's just part of the consideration, I think, as well.
So a big part of enforcing these rules is the NBA's investigation via Wattel Lipton. And there is a huge jaw-dropping moment where a Daktronic spokesperson invokes on their own the Wattel investigation. What did you make of that? What does this mean?
Yeah, I mean, so to explain the context here, there's a point in the episode, and I really hope people listen and watch the episode because the full thing, as we unfold it, it's also kind of just like torturing Amin with information that he's struggling to piece together. And I love that part. Like, the audience is Amin, but Amin is in the dunk tank a bit because it's been hiding there in front of him. But one of the things that's hiding there is the fact that Daktronics, when we have our collaborator, our friend and colleague, Sam Koppelman from Hunterbrook Media, when we have him tell us about his experience going directly to Daktronics for comment about all of this. And what he is met with is a crisis communications firm after Daktronics first sends him to their general counsel, by the way, which is a bit, I think, revealing in terms of like, okay, they're taking this quite seriously. Kawhi Leonard has not been mentioned at all yet, but they're immediately escalating this to this is an issue. The crisis communications firm says a couple of fascinating things. One of the things that he says, of course, is, quote, "We don't have a deal with Kawhi right now." And that's, I think, a telling tense there, as we discuss in the episode why that would be. And then the other thing he says that Mike raises is, and I want to get this right here because it's really important. He says, here we go. Quote, "I don't know what the company wants to say or can say given the Wachtell investigation." And so what we're dealing with here is Daktronics, a company that has been managing the issue of the Wachtell investigation before we ever called them. That is what our reporting is telling us. And so the question for all of us to contemplate here is the NBA and is Wachtell Lipton taking this story as seriously as they should? And my hope and belief is that, of course, they should and are, but you know, we won't know until we get whatever it is that they are going to publish, because this has not been mentioned anywhere else. It's taken us a while to get it onto the record, but that investigation, the thing that I empathize with, if you're a lawyer at Wachtell Lipton, is not only that you have to subscribe to this weird podcast to figure out if you're going to get in trouble maybe with your boss, Adam Silver, but also you're trying to follow every thread that we're also tugging at. And what you realize is that these threads connect. According to our reporting, everything we're telling you, we are telling you for a deliberate reason. That's the story of how we structured this episode. It's the story of why we did it after the RIFC episode. It's the story of why it is that no one can rationally explain without cap circumvention why it is that Kawhi Leonard keeps getting multi-million-dollar secret deals with Clippers partners that are never announced and which no one has any evidence that he did anything for.
And Pablo, like, when I was watching this, I couldn't help but think about what's going on across town in LA, not with the Lakers, but with the Dodgers. And I think about the range of all of this as we put it cross sport, because you have one league right now where you have the Clippers and their rich owner circumventing the rules, allegedly, of the salary cap to try to load the deck for their team. And yet, in this other league in Major League Baseball, with the Dodgers, they're following every rule. Every rule of Major League Baseball has allowed them to create this quasi-super team. And yet, what the Major League Baseball owners are doing is saying, we need a salary cap for you, the fan, to prevent the Dodgers from creating these super teams and acquiring these superstars. And yet, you have the Clippers right here in the same town with the rules in place, potentially skirting those rules and being able to acquire those superstars. So for the fans, for the question that you're asking of is the NBA paying attention, for the question that Dan asked last week of like, why don't fans seem to care more? I think that's the way we can position this, to sort of look at the attention of, yeah, it doesn't matter if Kawhi Leonard individually got some more money. It's the greater conversation of, why are these rules even in place to begin with if the richest of owners can skirt them and effectively create a super team for themselves that other organizations don't have those advantages to create?
So the bigger picture zoom out issue for all of sports here is that these things are so expensive that we're going to get to a point pretty soon where no individual billionaire can even afford them. And so what you're seeing is the widening of the gap, right? So Ballmer, when he comes in and he replaces, of course, Donald Sterling, he pays $2 billion for the Clippers, and this is a record price. And Adam Silver, this is his first job, right? He is the white knight riding in, expelling Donald Sterling, bringing in Steve Ballmer, tech guy, former Microsoft CEO, who's going to pay all this money. And so that, in retrospect, was just the beginning. Because over time, what we've seen, and Mark Walter, by the way, the owner of the Dodgers and the Lakers, the guy that, Jeremy, you're referring to, he is not merely himself, he is also Guggenheim Partners. He is also institutional investing that is backing him. And so when you get to teams being valuated, as the Dodgers and Lakers are, at $10 billion plus, or whatever it is that the market rate is at this point on August 7th, 2026, what you're getting to is a class of owners who are either institutional investors, meaning hedge funds, private equity, conglomerations of people, and or hyper super wealthy people like Steve Ballmer, who have $140 billion at their disposal, and they have advantages that allow them to do things that the rest of the former sort of understanding of owners that we used to have, those guys, it makes them look poor in comparison. And so this is an issue, the unbelievable wealth of sports, right? Sports is winning, and so are all the owners, but there are some owners who are distinguishing themselves by their wealth as different. And that gap is only getting larger over time. And so the question for any commissioner, as you welcome in new owners, by the way, and you manage the country club, in which suddenly now this is beginning to feel like a union membership where not everybody is incentivized in the same ways. Now, that's always been the case with big markets versus small markets, but it's been exacerbated now through sheer wealth, right? Some people are a lot more liquid than others. They have more money to spend than others. What you're getting to is this question of how can the commissioner possibly govern and hold these people to account? How can the rules matter? How can you actually make it so that they have to abide by things that are designed to constrain their ability? And so in baseball, look, that's a whole other series that I want to get to, the question of, like, should baseball have a salary cap, and how much is the Scooble thing? How much is that just like the sort of like coin in that arcade machine that tips all the other coins down, and suddenly now we have a salary cap because that was too much? But I think the question here is about the wealth gap. And it's not the wealth gap between average citizen and billionaire. It's normal billionaire versus the richest people who can only afford, who are the only ones who can afford these teams now.
Right. Major League Baseball expresses capitalism in a way that the NFL, specifically our most communist professional sports league, doesn't. And is the answer as simple, Pablo, the results of the Dodgers, which is back-to-back titles, versus the Clippers clippering with Kawhi Leonard? It's as straightforward as that. That's why there's not a more visceral fan-level reaction to the Kawhi Leonard saga here.
Well, I think, look, there is the comedy, right? The dark comedy, if you're a Clipper fan, of we went to every possible extent to do this, and we ended up sending away the future MVP and finals MVP to Oklahoma City that now tortures us every time we see them, right? Like, there is just the insult to injury, so to speak, of what the Clippers did and how it backfired beyond even not winning a title, but arming the Thunder with the ingredients to be a dynasty. So I think certainly we play the results, right? If this was a championship team, there would be even more outrage. If this was a team that had succeeded more brilliantly along these lines, we would have, I think, paid attention to this a lot sooner. But to me, the story is not the story of this is how you win. The story is this is how you mislead the public and allegedly hide the truth of what you're doing right in front of their eyes. And that's why I think this is a sports business story, and why this is a public interest story than anything else. Like, it's why RIFC, we spent all this time talking about, like, the housing crisis in Rhode Island. It's that taxpayer money got sucked into that. It's why in this episode, even though Ballmer built the Intuit Dome with private money entirely, which is to his enduring credit, to be very clear, it's the fact that he hid his identity behind this LLC, Murphy's Bowl, which was generically named as a matter of design to obfuscate the truth in front of the citizens of Inglewood, so they wouldn't know what was being put in front of their eyes until it was a really, really inconvenient timeline to debate. That's according to the LA District Attorney's Office. Like, the people who are running sports are playing a different game, and this is the story of why we should be exposing that.
Marvelous stuff once again, per usual. Pablo Torre is finding stuff out.
No one's doing this stuff. Why?
Who is it? Who's that? What's it? Oh, there it is.
Pablo, you did it again. Oh, look at us. Just a couple of Pulitzer Prize winners. Upholding journalistic values. Saving America. Why won't enough people talk about this? Why? I will proceed to talk about it every day.
Pablo, now Dan Le Batard getting busted. Don't get
I was
busted
gonna say,
by
I'm busted,
Kawhi
all right.
Leonard signing with the Clippers was a bust.
Busted over journalism.
Bust.
Big J.
See if you can find a rangier word. See if you can find that one out, Pablo Torre. Great work in the meantime, man. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for sparing the animation where Dan, busts, I guess. That would be a bit graphic to go that far.
Oh,
God.
Friday on Mystery Crate, we've got a bachelor party, and I need to know, are you an itinerary person or are you not an itinerary person? The entire Mystery Crate crew jumps down my throat and tries to tell me that I'm a little bit too bossy on Danny B's brother Johnny B's bachelor party, which I don't agree with.
And speaking of
Not
jumping
too
down,
many activities, completely normal.
speaking of jumping down your throat, I'll go.
Yes, we dissect algorithms. Mine in particular.
I hated yours.
No, mine was good.
I hated
If you're
yours.
tuning in for anything this week on Mystery Crate, tune in for my algorithm.
And if you listen to the main show, Chris actually said some stuff earlier in the week that hints toward what is on his algorithm.
Ooh.
So
Whoa,
that's
what
a
a
little bit
tease.
of a nugget for you.
What a tease.
It's a
An
tease.
update on Camp Fiesta, and Rose doesn't know lyrics. Anywhere you find podcasts and or videos, check us out, Mystery Crate, baby.
Shh. Back to you, Dan.
Back to you, Dan.
Based on what you just
Or
heard,
will.
what do you have a better understanding of answering my question, which is worse, a fractured testicle or a ruptured testicle?
No.
Chris Cody, do you have a better understanding? Tony, I'm not shaming you. You made the effort, and I'm proud of you. It was a courageous act. It was bold. You're borderline heroic. You're making America great again. Chris, do you understand, and can you answer my question any better? Which is worse, ruptured testicle, fractured testicle?
Heard every word. Ruptured's worse.
Because of what he said, or because you decided beforehand that ruptured is
No,
worse?
because he said.
There's a sac that protects a sac, right?
The medulla oblongata
and
part.
the fracture happens to that sac. So, like in many senses, the ruptured testicle is also a fractured testicle.
Well, but the fractured testicle isn't a ruptured
No,
testicle.
correct. That's right. But to rupture a testicle, you have to fracture it.
So, but what you're basically saying is, and I did not hear that in what he said it. First, you fracture the testicle, then you rupture it. So,
If not in every case. Sometimes people survive, and it's just a fracture to that outer lining.
Right. When did we decide wearing a cup somehow isn't cool anymore?
I've got a number of different questions. Okay, Gilligan's Island, top 10 television theme song of all time.
I don't care about Gilligan's Island.
Put it on the poll. Way to go, yes and at Le
Hater.
Batard Show. Top 10 television theme song of all time. Gilligan's Island, yes or no?
I'm gonna say Outside Looking In.
Wow.
Outside. You want me to do it? I'll do it. I'll do it.
You've got all 10? You feel like you've got all 10 right off the top of your head?
Not in order, but I can name 10.
Wow.
10 better than Gilligan's Island. You
Yes.
think you'll get consensus from everyone here in the room if you go 10? All right, go ahead.
These are all sitcoms?
You have dropped a sword in the middle of this show. You are defying everyone, and I believe you. I believe that you will find some Alan Thicke and some Quincy Jones, and you will amaze us.
All right. So again, not in order. So these are not the top 10. These are just 10 better than Gilligan's Island. Not number 10. Not number 10. Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not number 9. Different Strokes.
So you went Quincy Jones and Al. That's Alan Thicke, right? Yeah.
Not number 8. Facts of Life.
Also Alan Thicke.
Not number 7. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Did he do his own theme song for that? Is that?
Yes. Produced by QD3, I believe. Quincy's son. Not number 4. Miami Vice.
You missed number 5. There was a number 5.
I think 6 was missing too.
There's no order.
There's no order.
6 and a 5.
Yeah, 6 could be coming up here.
All right,
Skipper
that's fine.
Chuck.
That's fine. 6. Skipper Chuck.
He skipped 2 numbers.
You're a
Skipped
skipper.
Not 6 and not 5. You're a skipper.
What? Like Skipper from Gilligan's Island, or the other Skipper that I don't remember?
You just skipped 2 spots.
You're a skipper.
You're a skipper. You are a skipper.
Well, they're not in order, so I can always go back.
Skipping it.
Is it number 5 right now?
Number 5 or number 6 or number 3, it doesn't matter.
The People's Court.
No. No.
Judge Joe Brown?
Put it on the poll is the people.
Ba-dum-dum-dum.
Isn't that Judge Judy?
Just because you're snapping your fingers near your nipple. No.
He's working. That's working, though, Dan.
No, look. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Better theme song, People's Court or Gilligan's Island. But if I start singing Gilligan's Island by snapping my fingers near my nipples, I could jazz it up too. No. I reject that premise. Your list is falling apart.
How's it falling apart? Wait, the People's Court is everyone loves the People's Court.
I agree, but
the people are real. But the cases are real.
I'm not disputing the love of the People's Court. I'm saying you're underestimating the epic and seismic eternal echoing of Gilligan's Island.
Okay, you don't like People's Court? How about this? Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Saturday, what a day. A
3-hour
tour. Wait, hold on, man. Are you telling me you think Gilligan's Island is better than Happy Days?
No, I'm not telling you that.
Okay, then. All right. So then we're in. Oh, here's one. Knight Rider.
I reject that. You've offended Gilligan's Island.
What? Knight Rider?
Yeah, I got it. An automated car, a smart car. I got it. You watch war games with your kids.
I saw the primetime trailer yesterday where Pattinson's going to be playing Chris Hansen, and it made me feel grateful for little freaks like Robert Pattinson and Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh God, thank God.
Being
Thank
yeah,
God you finished that
not
out.
yeah.
Well,
They're little freaks.
Time, you got to be careful.
Well, yeah, no, that's fair. But it made me feel grateful because Robert Pattinson is a weirdo, and Daniel Radcliffe also kind of a weirdo. And both of those guys started their careers with massive franchises. Like Pattinson was actually in one of the Harry Potters, and then he gets Twilight, and he makes a ton of money. And Daniel Radcliffe, obviously, from the time he's a kid, he's Harry Potter. He makes a ton of money. And it gave them both the opportunity to wear their freak flag proud and do strange movies the moment they were done. They could make the weirdest choices, whether that was Pattinson with Good Time or with The Lighthouse, or whether it was Daniel Radcliffe doing Swiss Army Man or doing the Weird Al movie. And I just think it's really awesome when you have like really, really talented actors that get a chance to do something strange and just make the choice that makes them happy. And Chris, you know what?
I'm feeling what you're giving off here.
Yeah, I think that's worth a toast.
Let's do it.
Toast to the little freaks of actors, Robert Pattinson and Daniel Radcliffe. A toast to you, and worth a toast is presented by Cuervo. Keep it fun. Keep it Cuervo.
It's a good strategy. Get rich early in your career and then be able to make whatever choice you want.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
I wouldn't
Unfortunately,
say
it's a little late for me.
I wouldn't say Radcliffe's really kept the ball in the air on the same
he won a
level
Tony.
as Pattinson. All right.
That's the difference. Is he's done some weird stuff and truly weird in that he made the Weird Al movie. But he's not Pattinson. To me,
Radcliffe's grateful he got shoehorned in this toast.
Well, sure, but to me, and I don't disagree because to me, like Robert Pattinson is the best actor we have under the age of 50.
You've made that clear.
He's incredible.
We were talking after
Bobby P.
yesterday's show, and you declared, Taché, let me get this right, our greatest star in cinema is Robert Pattinson?
Not necessarily biggest star, best actor. He's the best actor. He consistently has unbelievable performances over and over and over again. He can be a leading man, which he's demonstrated in several different ways, now recently with the Batman, but the drama is a situation where he is a leading man, even though it's a strange character, but he also plays super weird characters, whether now it's Chris Hansen. Yeah, if you've seen Devil All the Time, The Lighthouse, like he is Mickey 17. He's constantly making really strange choices, doing different voices. I think he's the most talented actor and the best actor that we have going right now.
Mickey 17 was a miss.
It was a miss of a movie, but not a performance.
Yeah, not because of him. I maintain my prediction that Robert Pattinson will be nominated for both Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor this year. And Dave, I know you're a fan of these big actor years, Jim Carrey 94 and whatnot. Sure. Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, both in 2026, are in that Jim Carrey 94 territory, especially if Bobby P ends up securing the double.
Bold statement there. A big year for Pattinson. Inarguable, I suppose. By the way, you know what? That's a bold statement that requires that we break out not a figurative 10-foot pole, but a literal 10-foot pole to put it to the test. While you break that out, Pattinson's one of these cats, like I've said before. I know certain guys are handsome. I can tell. I'm secure in my masculinity. I can tell Brad Pitt when he takes that hat off in Legends of the Fall. Oh, he's a dreamboat. Dave Canales standing on those sidelines for the Carolina Panthers. He's a handsome devil. But Robert Pattinson's one of these guys. I'm surprised when women go wild for him. Would you know that he's a handsome guy if you weren't told he was? Roy?
Yeah, you got a good point there.
Yeah, Roy.
Yeah, you got a good point. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
You see him as handsome. Not
very
yet.
obviously handsome guy.
Who? Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Very obviously.
Nah.
Yes.
Well, Roy and I disagree.
We have different tastes in men then, I guess.
You know what I'm touching with the 10-foot pole? Zendaya having the biggest year in box office history.
You're going to Zendaya, biggest, and you are going to touch it with you see, people are so cowardly, they won't even touch something with a figurative. We have a literal 10-foot pole, and Mike is sticking his neck and that 10-foot pole out to touch that. Why are you so convinced Pattinson's a dreamboat? I know he is because people tell me
he is.
But I would never know that. But your eyes tell you that.
He can be handsome and ugly, though.
Yeah, no, that's the
Is there an
perfect thing.
Erling Haaland thing going on here with him?
Yeah.
Intriguing.
Good shout.
You got to be intriguing
He's
looking.
got the bone structure that goes with someone that is classically handsome.
This is right.
But he can get ugly.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
It helps him be one of the best actors under 50. Now, I don't know if I'll give him that, but let me put a list together.
Not exactly the best photo we've chosen for him. He looks like a young Brendan
Well, let's
Fraser
play this out because we've got a little bit
here.
of a line that's already becoming now another meme from Robert Pattinson here. Well, we didn't have the sound. That's on me. Should have cued Roy.
It seems like it's still. That's on you.
It was a video, but that's okay. You want to play it again, guys? Yeah, go ahead. You can play it again? We have the volume up now?
You see how this looks, right?
Yeah. You see how this looks, right? That one is the best Pattinson meme since Get These Beggars Out of Here!
I'm with you on Lighthouse being a gem. I know Mike Ryan also thinks it's a delightful comedy. I do think we've gotten a nice. People like to talk about who would win a fight among NFL head coaches, and I've also dabbled in who's the most handsome. I think Dave Canales, number one with a bullet,
I'm
right?
with you. Yeah,
nice looking fella.
I would also masturbate that much if I were Dave Canales. Is that too inside?
No. Keep the 10-foot pole going. Keep it. Keep
it was
going.
in his book. I'm about to bust.
He is a Pete Carroll disciple, so that tells you about what Pete Carroll's up to in his free time. All right, let's keep the 10-foot pole out here now. And here's something else I was talking with Mike Ryan about before we got going here. And I said, who is not the most famous person? Because fame is, who's the president of the United, Barack Obama is probably the most recognizable person, ergo the most famous person on the planet. But who is our greatest celebrity of the last 50 years? Mike Ryan, Tom Cruise, will you touch this statement with a 10-foot pole? Tom Cruise is the biggest celebrity of the last half century.
I would touch that with a 10-foot pole. I would. Yeah. Now, I would bet my life on him being top 3. Bet my life.
Okay, that's your 10-foot pole.
It has to be
Cruise
Trump.
with.
Trump's got to be up there.
Wow, I hadn't thought about that.
You opened the
said
door
Obama.
with Obama, but Trump, even more so than Obama, came in with fame before office. He was very famous before he ran for political office. So I hate to give it to him, but he's probably surpassed Muhammad Ali. So this is my top 3: Michael Jackson, Donald Trump, and Tom Cruise.
All notably good guys.
I guess it's murky. Donald Trump without the presidency isn't the biggest celebrity.
No.
But now.
But is that an element of celebrity, being the president of the United States?
He got elected because
I
was
just
a celebrity.
don't. How do you have him ahead of Obama when, like we said, he was famous before being a president?
You might be right. I hadn't really considered it. Yes, I would go. I think Ali. Ali was the most recognizable, most famous person on the planet Earth when I was a little kid. Michael Jackson would be number 1 or number 2. And
we're in the 2020s now, Dave Damashek. We're in the mid-20s. 50 years.
I agree with you about Cruise as our greatest
outside of Muhammad
movie.
Ali's prime.
Well, I'm not talking about 2021, or
You
I'm
said
talking
50
about in our
years.
lifetime, in the last 50 years.
Yeah, well, the last 50 years, that arrow, in terms of fame, started pointing down. And now Muhammad Ali stayed famous throughout, but his heyday was before this 50-year span.
It's weird that our most popular sport of the last 50 years enduring is pro football, but no football player would make this list. Who would make the list, though, is Michael Jordan. Right? He's top 5, don't you think? Messi. Yeah.
Ronaldo's more famous
Who
than
would
Michael Jordan.
Who would be the football player? Brady?
Yes.
Yeah, it would have to be Tom Brady. I guess. I'm trying to think if there was a. No, I'm just running through my mind. Don't give me a.
The greatest winner of all time?
I don't have to give me the reaction.
Handsome, internationally famous.
Would get recognized anywhere in the world.
Tom Brady would get recognized pretty much anywhere.
Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan trumps.
Jordan's bigger than
Trump and Tom Brady.
Not bigger than Trump, but Michael Jordan is more famous globally because basketball is bigger globally than American football.
You forget. I think people forget because now it's funny. It's a little bit like the Aaron Rodgers after Packers experience, diminished a little bit by recent events. Madonna, though. Madonna was, for some of you younger people, I don't think you really were. She was so monstrously huge. She was up there with, I think now probably transcended by Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And Beyonce levels for Madonna.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Madonna at the Heights was bigger than Beyonce.
I remember
ever was.
Madonna at the Heights. I'm a 40-year-old man, and I remember Beyonce at the height.
No.
Similar.
Madonna was bigger than Beyonce.
Was Will Smith ever in this conversation?
No. Will Smith was in this conversation.
I'm not now, but
no. Will Smith, bankable box office, global reach. Will Smith is a great one. Good for you, Chris Cody.
I like talking.
He's made very few positive contributions today, so I want to highlight it.
As I pointed out before, it's a weird irony that the greatest individual players to ever play our most beloved sports are all weird looking. Michael Jordan was balding when he was the greatest basketball player in the world. Was before he shaved his head, was in fact had a receding hairline. Wayne Gretzky looked like a preteen girl. Babe Ruth was a slob. Tom Brady in his underpants. Lionel Messi looks stumpy even by soccer player standards. Mike Ryan gets
You
upset.
keep making him stumpy. He's not stumpy. He's just little.
But also, our greatest movie stars are oddballs. Arnold Schwarzenegger, with a guy with an accent, all jacked up steroid guy, was the biggest movie star on the planet Earth. And then as he steps aside, Michael J. Fox was the biggest movie star in the world for a few years at least. And now I think Tom Cruise still stays number one,
Brad
as our
Pitt.
Where's Mr. Beast?
I Show Speed.
Jake Paul.
No, if we really are talking about just celebrity,
Is
and
it Jake
not-
Paul though, for real?
Well, no, if we're just talking about celebrity,
Jeremy's got a good one.
Kim Kardashian. She's more famous than 90% of the athletes we've named. Maybe not Michael Jordan, but
Yeah.
she's as famous as just about anybody. She's more famous than Tom Brady is.
Show me Lewis Hamilton.
See, this now
So is
I
Justin
turn.
Bieber.
I get ugly American when you start doing this. Messi, Michael Jordan was in every other commercial for about 10 years.
Brady's starting to be in a lot of stuff.
I did see a video of Messi leaving a Dick's in Fort Lauderdale where no one was recognizing him.
I thought, here was my take on that. I think it's an ad for Dick's.
That could be.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I didn't like, and I don't look, you parent how you want to parent, but you don't get in the car before the kids and close the door.
He did do that.
I don't like that.
By the way, it's an old conversation, but it is weird that Mike Trout is really going to finish his career. And it's funny the turn in the way we sort of talk about these athletes. It used to be, it was nice that a guy would play his whole career with one franchise. I've seen some people taking Mike Trout to task for not begging out of the Angels so he could go and try to win a title. Taché, how say you about this? Mike Trout, should he have been pressing in the twilight of his career to leave the Halos, who have no shot here?
No, I think it's cool. It's a different thing in baseball than a lot of other sports.
Is this literally from left field?
Yeah. No, it's a different thing in baseball.
Well, because
than-
I'm thinking, let me explain why
Please.
I jumped into Mike Trout here.
because he's not famous.
Exactly. Where
The least
the biggest
famous star.
celebrity, Kim Kardashian, does nothing and is a huge celebrity. Mike Trout probably is now not going to be remembered as a top 10 baseball player, but he still is one of the top 20 to ever do
His
it.
peak.
I
is
like this.
insane.
Least famous, most talent, like the most talented people who should be more famous.
Right.
I don't think we can do better than Mike Trout. That's a great one.
Let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can.
Who's the actor out there that doesn't have the fame they deserve based off their acting chops?
Well, people love to do that on social media. They'll show an image of a guy who nobody knows his name, but 4 movies he was in, and they love to say, if this actor's in the movie, instantly it's a great picture, right? There are guys like that.
Character actors.
Yeah, but we're not talking about character actors. We're talking about guys you would hold up as the very best in their profession, and Mike Trout is probably the all-time answer to that question, right?
Can't think of a better one.
He
I
literally
think
could
it's
walk
the
around
best surgeon.
I bet you could
Some
walk
teacher
around
out
out. People do the
Or a
thing of like
whale.
Messi in Miami. Well, it's America and soccer isn't yet achieved those heights. I think Mike Trout could walk around Los Angeles County and people wouldn't know who he is.
I thought that a couple seasons ago when Sandy Alcantara was winning Cy Youngs, I thought that about him because he didn't really, I think down here in Miami, didn't get the attention he deserved.
I get the this is why Messi picked America. Look at him not being noticed. And I find that so stupid when it's a dude clearly video recording Messi. Yeah. He was not
recognized.
unnoticed. It went viral because a dude is like, holy cow, that's Messi. It's the dumbest argument.
Yeah, it's
Look
true.
at him not being noticed out there.
Yeah, but
what
like-
are you talking about?
But the most
man is walking to his car. It's an invasion of privacy.
Yeah, but
he was very clearly noticed.
But Michael Jackson was not going to like a grocery store by himself. At times.
You
He
don't
would have
know
security
that.
with him.
You don't know that. This is a tree falling in the forest type of thing. You don't know how many times Michael Jordan went to Dick's Sporting Goods.
Well, you obviously notice Shaquille O'Neal if he's walking around. You note the striking thing is, in fact, if you saw Kobe Bryant around, it was always like, oh my God, who is that gigantic person? And you realize, oh, Kobe Bryant's just the average height of an NBA basketball player. And yet, among normal people, he's really a striking figure. Messi, the thing that would be striking is like, oh, he comes up to my waistline. Look at the little fella. That's the best player in the history of the sport.
If you saw Messi walking by, you would instantly recognize him. And him being short is part of it.
You see right here in this video, he gets in. He's got 2 kids with him. He's just like in the car quickly, shut the door. And
I can't do that. I can't do that. I make sure everybody's buckled up. I do that with 40-year-olds entering my car. I'm the last person to get in. It's just
Robert
character of the man type of
Pattinson.
stuff.
Robert Pattinson would be mobbed in any Hollywood situation.
right.
All right, it's time, everybody. Let's get to it. It's football season, like I say, and it's not just the players who are getting into shape physically and otherwise in training camp. The fans need to get right, too, mentally and beyond. It's time to play Mr. Lister. Let's do a football-based category. Chris Cody wisely hiding himself. Today, it's Taché v. Mike Ryan.
No.
What do you?
Two
Why
fake
you?
Cubans.
All
Good selection.
Should we go with what favors Taché most? here?
Nothing.
Theater.
You're not good.
Olivia
at this.
Rodrigo.
You're not good at this. For newbies, we'll trade back and
Glee.
forth. I'm going to give you a category, and you'll go back and forth one by
Merrily
one
we
until
roll
one of
along.
you.
This is my
cannot
first
come
Mr.
up-
Lister.
Cannot come up with an answer.
Why is it always me getting embarrassed?
This is
game
your
always-
first?
This is my first, and it always seems so easy when I'm not playing in it.
Yeah, people always say.
I
People
couldn't
always
think
say.
of Jason Taylor as a Dolphin Hall of Famer last week.
Did you catch that, Mike Ryan? The guy wearing the Miami Dolphins T-shirt right now. The
I had
list was Pro Football Hall of Famers who played or coached.
What
for
day did you ask him? Was it a
Friday.
Thursday?
Friday.
Oh, okay.
Fair.
After Wednesday, it just drops off a cliff. There's pre-bowling Chris, post-bowling Chris.
Wednesday's RO is rough.
I want to help
And
Taché out
the
here.
occasional Monday's rough too.
It's fine. I'll try my best.
We play Mr. Lister on Football America
Tuesdays.
in August to get right.
Tuesdays you'll get a solid Chris Cody.
It was pretty striking when it was Tony versus Cody versus Taché. It was cute. Everybody was, and then we did Cody versus Zaslow, and you realized, oh, Zaslow actually knows what he's talking about. And
I felt the pressure.
I know things.
all
just
right, well,
not
let's see
these
what you know.
things.
Let's see what you. Well, the subject is football. You
All
know?
right,
and
well.
so let's do football here.
guy
I'm
likes
trying to
every
figure
team.
out which one favors you at least a little
It's
bit.
fine. Just pick the one that doesn't, so I can not be embarrassed when
All
I
right,
get it
these are
wrong.
the most famous. These are famous names.
Okay.
So this should play into. And I'm going to let you go first here. 2,000-yard running backs in NFL history.
Chris Johnson.
That's correct.
Terrell Davis.
That's correct.
Oh, really?
Sean Alexander. Is he on that list? He had a good year.
I mean, there's just so many ways you could go there. Why
It's the first one that came to mind. What
Why
do you
the
want from me?
reach? There are.
There's a pacing to this, Dave. You want me to go quick, or you want me to just sit here and go? We edit pitch clock for a reason.
Uh-huh.
It's because we sit there for about, I don't know, 90 seconds at a time between
Baseball's
answers.
pastoral. Football's on a clock, friend. No, Sean
called the pitch
Alexander
clock.
is not correct. I'd like you to steal the category, Mike Ryan, with one
Barry
correct
Sanders.
answer. Barry Sanders. Do you
I've
wanna-
got more.
Go ahead, please.
Jamal Lewis, sneaky.
That's right. That's a good one.
And Jonathan Taylor. Didn't he just have one?
Jonathan Taylor did not, but you have.
He got close.
Ugh. The,
Expanded.
How could you get that wrong?
I'm sorry.
And you didn't even say Ricky Williams.
I outscored you by 2.
did you? Well, it's good you didn't say Ricky Williams because that would also be a wrong answer.
Damn.
But also, you
That's
could.
what Chris fed me. He walked to the
Smart guy.
side and he went,
O.J. Simpson.
It's really not
Ricky
just
didn't
phone
have
a
a
friend.
2000.
It's really important to phone a
OJ.
smart friend.
Yeah.
Eric
The
Dickerson.
juice is, of course, correct. The greatest season. The greatest.
Adrian Peterson.
The best one is Eric Dickerson. Adrian Peterson has the second highest rush total,
remember
but
that.
of
Who was
course
the most
over
recent
16
one?
games. Saquon.
Oh, yeah. That guy's good.
Yeah, Derrick Henry did it once and almost did it a second time.
How about the Titans, huh? 2K rushers.
That's wild, yeah. And Derrick Henry, by the way, is one of those guys who I will never draft in fantasy because I continue talk about to go way back to where we started this show about your personal confirmation of what you thought. I didn't think Derrick Henry was going to work out in the NFL, and so I cannot put him on my fantasy team ever. And now he's going to retire as easily one of the 10 best running backs of the Super Bowl era. Do you want to do another one?
Easily. I mean, he ran for 2,000 yards in one season.
That's right. Yeah, I heard about that. Do you want to do one more?
Absolutely. I feel like I cover
Yeah.
myself in glory in this.
All right, Roy, you're up now. You get to take on
In
Mike
place of
Ryan.
me?
Oh,
Awesome.
Shit.
I was
Good
going to
luck,
call
Roy.
Chris Cody, but behind your back, he pointed at you. So now, Roy, you're up.
Why would you do that?
2021, Jonathan Taylor, 1,800 yards.
By the way, that's something else we need to figure out while we play little games here.
The expanded seasons.
What are we going to do? The expanded seasons is exactly right. The fact that we don't point that out, that we talk about without the context of this college quarterback is the all-time leading pass or whatever. Like, yeah, he also played 20 more games than the guy who he just beat out to get that career record. We have to figure out before the season kicks off, though, what are we going to do as a gang? Are we going to do a fantasy league? Are we going to do some sort of pool, some spread pool, some weekly fantasy?
Yeah, this is where I think Football America needs to lead from the front.
Okay.
You have football in your name.
I'm down. I think we should do a suicide pool.
We don't say that anymore.
That is how I feel when I play Mr. Lister.
We don't say that anymore.
What do we say? What do we call it now?
Survivor pool.
Survivor pool, right.
Yeah.
I say, though, let's change the standard a little bit. Instead of you have to pick a winner every week, you have to pick a team that's definitely going to lose.
I
Because
like that.
you're going to run out of gas pretty quick. You'll take the Dolphins or the Browns in week 1, and then after that, where are you going? You know this team's going to lose?
I'm down. Let's do this.
A few years ago, we can't do this because it's not like cool to do it. I pitched and we almost did it, but then we were like, this is not a good idea. A survivor pool, but instead of for teams, it's running backs. And if your running back gets hurt, you're eliminated. So you go around and you like draft a few running backs, and you have to come up with some sort of standard.
I did like that idea.
Hurt and has to miss 1 week.
We have to
right?
come up with like what exactly,
We draft
how
running
much.
backs. Like
You can't
and
play 1
The
week.
least amount of games wins.
I like the immediacy of what Cody says. If your guy cannot go on game day, then you're out. And I'll start it with Derrick Henry.
We're actually doing this.
Go ahead.
McCaffrey.
Oof. Wait,
Wait,
you realize
We're trying to draft guys that
to
we think
stay
are-
healthy.
To stay healthy.
You're eliminating when your guy gets hurt.
All right. Never mind. Opposite.
It's a survivor. You want to survive with your guy healthy. As soon as he misses a game, you're out of the survivor pool.
Because it would be cruel to cheer when you heard, oh, yeah, it's a multi-week injury. Boy, that Achilles looked bad. Yeah, woohoo!
Dude, this
I
is
win.
tougher than you'd think.
We don't have to do it today. We can like think about it because I want to look at my big board of like guys least likely to get hurt.
Oh.
All right.
These guys are all
used
gonna
up,
get hurt.
I got to say, I used up the jazzier characters.
Jalen Warren.
Oh, that's a good one.
This makes me realize that this is a pretty tough sport.
I used up a lot of good categories on this week's Mr. Lister. Spoiler alert, Roy is a part of it. Amin El Hassan is a part of it. Good times. Make sure you check out the new episode. And if that didn't win you over, Mina Kimes shadows the digital door as well with some thoughts about the upcoming season. Right here, pretty straightforward category. Roy, you're up first against Mike Ryan. Here we go. The category is all-time official NFL sack leaders. That is a little hint for you, or I'll give you a more specific one. Deacon Jones isn't on here because they weren't recording sacks when Deacon Jones, who probably would be the all-time sacks leader had they been tracking.
Hold on, explain this to me. We're listing people that at the end of the season were the single season sack leaders?
No. Career sacks.
Okay.
All-time top 20.
All right.
Okay,
this is good.
All right, so Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan.
There's a question mark there.
No, it's not a question mark. No, that Michael
Little
Strahan.
bit.
That's
Little
the tone,
bit.
my tone was affirmative. Michael Strahan.
That's correct. All right. Number 6.
Reggie White.
I like when Mike does this. He articulates like I'm Alex Trebek. And
That's what I was trying to do.
Reginald White, Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles. There's another team he played for. Can you name it, Mike Ryan, for bonus points?
Carolina Panthers.
Ah.
Oh man, I was about to say
Oh, Roy. Now that was a little bit of showing off. You're up.
All right, Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor.
You think that was a question too?
I mean, you are.
that.
I have to
ESPN
put
is
my
dead?
glasses. I cannot believe, as somebody who is a devoted football lover and would pat himself on the back of like, no flies on me in Super Bowl era trivia, I cannot believe the name that is next to Lawrence Taylor right now. But that is not much of a clue because you will not get it. Mike Ryan.
I'm running a risk here. I don't know if he played long enough, but I'm gonna take a risky one here. J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt is not on the board here.
God,
And that
you
makes-
moron.
That's crazy, huh?
That is hard to believe. I mean, now I have to question.
I knew that one was risky.
This is from my source is Pro Football Reference. I don't think these names can be right.
There's longevity guys.
I
like
get it.
Charles
Wait till you hear
Haley.
these names.
Is
Wait.
Charles Haley there?
Charles Haley is not on the list. Number 1 is, it's not Reggie White, but a contemporary. Always on the list of best defensive players ever.
Adewale Ogunleye.
Close. Bruce Smith. Kevin Green.
You remember that one time that Bruce Smith went on television and he fell straight backwards because allegedly he was inebriated? That was crazy. Yeah, have you ever seen that video?
Oh, pull that up. I'll read these names while you do. Talk about the Carolina Panthers. Kevin Green played for them. Julius Peppers is 4. Number 5 is Chris Dolman.
Yeah. Number 5 was Dolman? That's surprising. So there was I was considering over J.J. Watt. I was considering Julius Peppers, but I felt better about J.J. Watt, so I'm an idiot. Where's Jason Taylor on that list?
7. He's the next name up. Number 8 is Terrell Suggs, a great and enduring player, but the 8th all-time. Then Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware tied. Then Richard Dent and John Randall tied at 11. 13, Jared Allen. So far, nothing too crazy. Here we go.
Jared Allen's pretty high up there.
Number 14, John Abraham.
That's nuts.
Oh, all time? What?
Yeah.
What?
If you would have asked me who has more sacks in their career, Jadeveon Clowney or John Abraham, I would have said Clowney because he's been in the league forever.
I mean, this is a crazy list. Wait, I'm going to skip the one who's tied with Lawrence Taylor. 17, Cameron Jordan. Number 18, Ricky Jackson. A couple of Pitt guys showing up here.
Is Myles Garrett close?
Myles Garrett is tied for 20th with Dwight Freeney. Derek Thomas still hanging in there at number 19. Mentioned Ricky Jackson. The guy tied with Lawrence Taylor, number 15. Now, they didn't start recording sacks until, I think, mid-70s-ish, somewhere around there. Leslie O'Neal. Leslie O'Neal! What the hell? More than J.J. Watt? More than any other human being?
How far off is J.J. Watt from the top 20 according to Pro Football?
What in hell?
And I was torn, like, maybe TJ's.
TJ is a half sack ahead of JJ. JJ's at 114.5. So to get to the top 10, that was 138.5.
If we were going to keep going with Mr. Lister, I probably would have guessed Calais Campbell at one point.
And he's 25th. He's at 117 sacks.
Well, congratulations, Roy.
Jadeveon Clowney is 127th.
Do we have the video of Bruce Smith?
Yo,
flip
Jadeveon
over
Clowney
backwards?
sucks.
That's 66.5 sacks.
How is he still getting work?
Mike, in our remaining time here, I want to make sure that you
need to find this Bruce Smith thing. It's crazy.
I just found it for myself. I'm going to send it to the video team.
Where did you come down? To me, I'll just Cliff's Notes my reaction because I am the resident Steelers fan here. What jumped out to me, a lot of people ask me, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers? Comments on television. What it stands out to me is what a hypocrite he is, that he demands that people cover people's personal lives and yet has been married for the better part of a year. Like, should everybody dig in on everybody's marital status? Is that what you're asking for, Aaron?
I've seen that take, and you know what's weird is like he kind of makes the admission. I read his book cover to cover, and it was a great listen, a real page turner, and he kind of understands where he went wrong with the immunized thing. There seems to be some regret, and then you don't believe there's regret when he does the whole playing the victim card. My guy, Kirk Cousins and Lamar Jackson didn't get anything, really, for being unvaccinated. They didn't. They did not catch flack. Why is that? They just hate you? No. You lied about it. You tried to make a game out of it. You tried to be all cute. And then you try to play victim because people catching you playing cute. You are not the only unvaccinated quarterback. Yet you're the only guy vilified, and you struggle to understand what makes you different. It's the lie, pal. For the life of me, why can't he understand this?
He wants it to be. He wants to pretend it's about free speech and somebody trying to diminish his free speech. For the record, I love free speech because it allows the fools to tell on themselves. Say whatever you want. If you want to be a dork about this, please dork out. What it also suggests to me is that he's emotionally brittle. And it kind of points to, I know it's a little bit of a reach, but it does kind of indicate to me why he might fall on his face in the biggest spots. That if you challenge him, which the best defenses do in January, and when it's all on you and there's no one else to blame, that somehow you wind up in trouble. All right, let's see the Bruce Smith falling
Hit
backwards
it, guys.
in a different way.
All right.
It's B-roll, so
So
you
we're
see Bruce
watching
Smith.
it.
Trev
He's
Alberts.
talking about it. Here he is. He's
Stumbling.
shaking back and
Wobbling
forth.
back
Oh, now he's going back.
Oh,
like
what
a
the
tree.
hell? He kept his hands in his
Kept
pockets.
his hands in his. I'm so happy.
What a great observation.
It's my favorite detail about the whole thing. I wanted you to discover it. He falls straight back after a couple stumbles, but his hands stay in his pockets the entire time.
How is this not on your top 5 things you like to show people?
Oh, I love this, and now I need to have that video for all of time. The highlight for me, Trev Albert watches him fall, then turns right back, keeps on going.